All right, good morning, everybody. Dan here, Ultimate Boston Red Sox Collector page on Facebook. It's Sunday morning around 9:30. I'm redoing essentially last night's video that I did. I got a little long-winded and ended up going about 18 minutes, and it's not allowing me to upload it today, telling me it's too long. I tried twice, and I didn't think I had any limitations as far as how long my videos could be, but apparently I do. So we're going to do yesterday's video. It's going to be a lot shorter, though, because a lot of the content, I put that stuff away. My mail day from yesterday, I just got 3 new cards in, all 2020 Donruss purple and red foil inserts, a couple Rafael Devers and a Chris Sale. And I also was showing off my autographed Carlton Fisk bat that I picked up down at the Wilmington show last spring, and also showed off a couple of my game used bats that I have from the 1980s, one of Reed Nichols and one of Pat Dodson, which is also autographed. Certainly not big names by any means, but I got them both really inexpensively from the same seller last year, and I did not have anything like it in my collection. So I put those back away, so I'm not going to show them again. I might show those in a future video, but I guess the one thing I'm going to focus on in today's video is if any of you have watched my previous videos, you all know I'm not a huge fan of Beckett, the publication. I use the marketplace online to purchase cards from. That has nothing to do directly with Beckett. It deals with the individual dealers themselves, and I've always had good success. So I continue to use that. I do have used the online organize and price guide subscriptions in the past, but I currently re-upped my organize so I'd have access to all of my certified autograph cards and relic cards that I did my inventory through that site. And so I went ahead and re-upped for a month and printed that stuff off, and I went back on and canceled my subscription yesterday. I'll still be able to use it for another roughly 2 weeks. But just never really been happy with their pricing. It's not accurate anymore. They don't update older pricing, and it causes, I think, the market to overcharge for older cards from that time frame. So anyway, enough Beckett bashing as far as the price guide, but one of the real reasons I really stopped liking Beckett is they used to, back when their price guide was actually had some information in it, and stories about collecting and collectors. They used to do the Super Collector feature, and this was back when I was 40. According to this, I had knee surgery and I was out of work for about a month, and I was bored out of my mind. And back in my old house, I didn't have the space that I have here, and everything was piled up in boxes. And I had a pretty good photographic memory of what I had. I never really kept good lists of anything. I just remembered what I had and what I didn't have. And so one day I decided, well, I'm bored. I'm going to dig out some of my stuff and maybe do some inventory. And then I set up a couple tables and a couple shelves on my sun porch and took some pictures of myself with my collection. I submitted it for Beckett Super Collector. Well, it was a very small portion of my collection. I gave the stats and everything. And a couple months later, I get an random email from a gentleman who was saying, I saw your feature in Beckett about your Red Sox collection, and honestly, I don't remember what the other part of the conversation was, but in other words, it's like, what? Really? I'm in Beckett, and Beckett didn't bother to reach out to me to tell me. So it turns out it was in the sports card issue, either October or November of, must have been 2015, I'm guessing. Maybe 14, can't remember. Again, I was 40 when I submitted it. I'll be turning 46 this year, so must have been in 2015. So I went to my local card store and picked up the issue, and there I was, with no notification at all from Beckett. Had I not gotten that email, I would have never known that I was featured in the magazine. So that was extremely disappointing. Reach out to the people that you're going to publish and say, hey, here you go. And so another reason I dislike them is because I then reached out to them and asked if I could get, like the proof of that issue, the proof of the page that they printed on me, because that would be in color. The feature was in black and white, and they told me there was nothing they could do for me. And I've called on 2 other occasions since then, Nothing in the last couple of years, but just trying to talk to different people and see if they would have that in their archives and if it's something they'd be willing to send me. I'd love to have that to put here in my Red Sox room, and I've never had any success. I've kept the original paper. I took it out of the magazine because I didn't want to keep the whole issue, but there I am. Again, this is back in either 2014 or 2015 when I submitted this. And it's interesting when I look back at the stats, so to speak, by the numbers column. So at the time, and this granted was 5+ years ago, I had 13,150 unique cards. I have probably slightly more than double that now. I'm probably in the 26,000 range. 50,000 plus total cards, and that was including my duplicates, which I had a lot of at the time. I had probably close to 35,000 duplicates. And I have since sold all of those. I kind of regret doing that, but we were moving here and I wanted to eliminate some stuff, so I had about 10 or 11 3,200 count boxes. Actually, it was 1,600 count boxes, so I had about 20 of those, and I just wanted to get rid of them at that point. I had a lot of stuff. I used to buy large lots of Red Sox, and I had bought a collection at one point that was about 5,000 to 6,000 cards, and I had multiples of cards from the mid-2000s, stars, superstars, inserts, you name it, and I just decided to get rid of those. I kept only certain players. I have them in binders in my file cabinet back there. Haven't gone through those in a long time, but I got rid of all my Wade Boggs, my Roger Clemens, Jim Rice. Actually, no, I kept Jim Rice because he was all of him. But Dwight Evans, I kind of kicked myself for that. Wish I would have kept a few more players. Manny Ramirez, I got rid of all of his. I kept all my Ortizes, which I've since sold to a friend of mine. But anyway, they're just duplicates. I'm not missing them other than trying to figure out where to put them. 4 one-of-one cards, as I did in my video the other night. I now have 12 of those. 88 certified autograph cards of 80 different players. Now that number is probably in the 325 to 350 range, with probably 250 different players, if I had to guess. Might not be that many, because there are some guys I have 8 or 9 autographs of. 273 different game-used cards. That number has about doubled. I'm pushing 550 now. 1,000 plus rookie cards. Honestly, that was a wild guess. That's probably in the 3,000 to 4,000 range, if I had to guess. 31 yearbooks. That number is roughly doubled. I have roughly 63 yearbooks now. I'm only missing the 1955. 100 plus magazines with Red Sox players on the covers, including programs, Sports Illustrated, Sporting News, and Baseball Digest, etc. That number is pushing 500, if not more. I bought a huge lot of Die Hard magazines, the old paper magazines like the old Sporting News. I have a pretty close to a complete run of about 7 or 8 years of those. I have those in my other room, so that was a big addition. I have 5 new publications coming in the mail, actually, this week that I did not have, all for around $1 a piece, so happy to get those. 25 autographed items, such as bats, balls, photos, postcards. That's laughable now. I have over 170 different baseballs. I have over 100 different photos. I probably have, between postcards and cachets, probably 30 to 35. I have about 8 autographed bats. I have probably about 10 autographed jerseys. And then, not to mention, just other miscellaneous things, miscellaneous publications. I probably have about 15 to 20 miscellaneous publications. So that's the thing in my collection that I've really grown the most. And honestly, that's where the value tends to be and the collectability tends to be. 45 starting lineups unopened. I have a complete run of starting lineups except for the Canadian versions. So that number is somewhere around 75 to 80. 42 McFarlane figures unopened. I have the complete set of McFarlanes. I have everyone issued of with a Red Sox player, any combo ones. That number is around 90, I want to say, so about double on that. 10 other statues and figurines. That number is probably triple to quadruple, probably 30 to 40, if not more. I'm guessing it's probably even more than that. It might even be 50 plus. And 50 plus posters and lithographs. That number is probably pushing probably 80 to 100, somewhere in that range. So in 5 short years, I've really grown my collection, and of course having a place to display it really helps. At the time, I didn't even mention pennants. I have about 50 of those on the ceiling and surrounding me on the walls. and bobbleheads. I don't know that I even had any bobbleheads back then. I have close to 100 bobbleheads. I have probably 30 plates. So it's comical to see that now, and now I'd really be featured as a super collector. And so if anybody else out there who's watching my videos has ever been featured as a super collector, I'd love to see your profile and talk about it. Figured I'd talk about mine for a little bit today, where I didn't really, again, my video last night got cut off on me, so I decided to just do a quick one today. I probably won't do one tonight. I'm going to try to work on some want lists today. I got up early this morning, put away a lot of the loose cards that I had hanging around, get them in my binders, so when my other orders come in, I'll be ready to go. Still waiting on 2 Sport Lots orders. They're taking forever. I know that the mail is slower right now. I work at the post office. I know how slow things are moving right now with staffing in various facilities and distribution centers. So I know why that's happening. But just be patient. It's not the end of the world. I'll get them when I get them, and I'll talk about them when I get them. So that's all I have for today. I hope everybody has a great Sunday, and we're getting ready for more snow. 3 to 6 inches, they're saying, in our area, although they seem to be downplaying it now, where it's going to be more rain. It's going to be heavy and wet again. I'm looking out my window. My grass on the other side of my pool looks like it almost could be mowed at this point. It's really starting to pop up, and this is going to set that back at least a week. So disappointing that the weather isn't better. We all want spring. We all want to get outside. We all want baseball, ultimately, and we'll just continue to be patient. And for those states, Georgia in particular, that's decided it's safe to open. We'll see. Hopefully, they don't get a spike because that's going to mean that every other state is going to have to suffer because of it, and they're going to delay opening the states back up. So keep our fingers crossed that everything goes well. There are a couple other states, and I noticed on the news this morning there's several other states that plan on lifting restrictions this week. So hopefully that's not going to set us back, and hopefully we can continue to move forward. Maine is not on that list as of yet. And I'm glad we're not, to be honest with you. Let's just keep fighting the fight and get through this, and be able to live like normal again. So fortunately, my life has not really been affected that much by it, and other than the fact that I'm because I'm splitting time with my wife at work, I'm not getting any overtime anymore, so it's cut into my card budget. So but I can deal with that for right now. I'll just keep on talking about the things that I do have and add where I can. But that's all I got. Have a great Sunday, everybody.